Well, the conspiracies continue around Taylor Swift being a secret CIA asset and a political operative, as we're awaiting the inevitable Biden endorsement that she will do with her boyfriend, Travis Kelce. But the news is that Trump is waging a holy war, that's a quote, against Taylor Swift as his biggest rival in the upcoming election. Not Biden, Taylor Swift. Trump allies pledge holy war against Taylor Swift. She hasn't even endorsed Joe Biden yet, but Trump is allegedly privately grousing he's more popular than her. So they talked to 3 inside sources from inside the Trump campaign and his inner circle, and they're saying that it's a given that Swift will eventually endorse Biden as she did in 2020. Several of these Republicans in the media have discussed the matter with Trump over the past few months, sources say. And Trump is basically saying, you know, I'm more popular than Taylor Swift, so whatever she says can't possibly hurt my campaign. Who has a more rabid and loyal fan base?
Both.
Trump
Honestly,
or
both.
Taylor Swift?
Like, I actually think of them kind of the same. Like the die-hard, over-the-top. Trump is the second coming of Jesus Christ, and 9D chess people are just as nutty as the people who see weird celebrity pareidolia in all of the things that Taylor Swift does, where they see their own QAnon-level Taylor Swift Easter eggs in everything, much like the Argyle thing that we talked about.
Yeah, like it's 2 diehard fan bases, and I guess this will be the test of which one has more cultural influence and more power.
So who was it that actually used the phrase "holy war"? It was somebody
An anonymous
close to,
insider, an anonymous Trump loyalist working in Trump's campaign.
Who even believes that?
I mean, it's Rolling Stone. So
Right.
Who are they talking to? Like, who are these inside sources? Who's to say? New York Times reported this week that Swift is a key name on Biden's wish list of potential surrogates. And there's also theories that, you know, the Chiefs winning the Super Bowl is actually part of her secret plan to put Biden back in office again this year.
And then Travis Kelce's going to propose at the Super Bowl, and she's going to be like, "We're going to Disney World."
Yeah.
And then they're going to get married on the eve of the election. And
So ridiculous.
So the NFL season is supposedly rigged to boost Biden in the polls.
Yep.
Trump has reacted to the possibility of Biden and Swift teaming up with an instant projection of ego. In recent weeks, Trump has reportedly told people in his orbit that no amount of A-list celebrity endorsements will save Biden. He's also privately claimed that he is more popular than Taylor Swift and that he has more committed fans than she does, according to an inside source.
Committed? I don't know.
It depends on what scenario.
More? I don't know. Committed? Maybe. Like, honestly, committed? Maybe.
Committed like how? Like she could probably fill a larger stadium,
Yes.
but we're talking about like her age demographic is what, like 18 to 30, 35 maybe, right? Like we already know that 18 to 24-year-olds don't go out and show up to vote anyway. So they'll be like, yeah, I support Joe Biden too.
I think that's-
and then they'll forget that it's election day or they'll have to go get their nails done and they won't remember and go vote.
I think that's changing. I think as the next generation of celebrities start to advertise themselves as activists every bit as much as they do celebrities and movie stars and actors, I think that we're starting to see a new generation that actually is trying to take their civic
but we haven't seen
responsibility in a
it
different
pay
way.
off yet in any metric, in any polls. And it's not like you can say, oh, we don't trust the polls anyway. But
Yeah.
like the recent polls for New Hampshire and Iowa, they were pretty on point. Like we don't see the numbers of young people coming out like that. We just don't.
Well, maybe after Taylor Swift issues her endorsement of
Doubtful.
Biden, things will change. I did say like a fifth of voters in a new poll suggests they would be likely to vote for a candidate endorsed by Taylor Swift.
Then they
which is
shouldn't vote.
insane. Who knows if they'll actually show up or if that's just what they're saying in a poll. But I think that just in an optics sense, it would be bad optics for Trump to publicly come and face off with Taylor
it's
Swift.
ridiculous.
Like that would be bad optics for him.
What
Because
he should do is he should play the
you
video
know,
of him and Barron singing Taylor Swift.
I just think like a lot
Instead.
of political junkies don't want to understand pop culture. a lot of them want to live in this delusion that pop culture doesn't matter and celebrities don't matter and who pays attention to them anyways.
You
but
get
the whole
those comments
point
on
of
everything, but
Yeah.
these types of channels, if you look at people who cover general pop culture, not pop culture with a political slant or pop culture within the realm of the culture war, but these channels get insane views. It is relevant
it's
to
relevant.
the general
yeah,
public.
and I think that
Whether
it's
you think
just,
that's good or not.
it's bad optics for you to look at what is most popular and most relevant in pop culture today, which is Taylor Swift, and immediately attack it instead of trying to understand it.
I get
Instead
that.
of really trying to be curious, like, why does Taylor Swift appeal to young women? And do we want to win their hearts and minds over, or do we just want to attack what they like? Because you're not going to win them over by attacking the thing that they love and idolize.
I agree with that. But to act like this is something new, though, like, oh, it's a psyop and she's a big, like, Frank Sinatra was, endorsing Kennedy and stuff, right? Like, this has been going on for ever. We had celebrity endorsements, and you can't say that Frank Sinatra wasn't the same level of a pop star as Taylor Swift was, right? Because he clearly was, if not more. He was filling stadiums and girls were going crazy and swooning, right? So, like, we've been having this forever. It's just we have like a memory hold that there were big pop stars out there that endorsed candidates, and it's nothing new to.
Right. I think that what has changed, though, is celebrity worship has become such a huge cultural problem
Isn't that
today.
weird, considering they talk about how there's no new movie stars, but celebrity worship is extremely high?
It is. And that's really the deeper problem. Maybe back then, yeah, you would see celebrities endorse candidates, but celebrity worship has gotten stronger and stronger.
I
to
mean,
the point where it's at a
Elvis?
fever
There's a
pitch
$20
now.
one here from Philip Reed. Says, "Am I the only one who doesn't care about Swift or the sports ball championship?
I agree.
Or am I just an old curmudgeon? Even if you don't care about it, you should understand what it means to Americana, because lots of Americans love football. Lots of Americans watch football. Lots of American women specifically love Taylor Swift. It does pay to understand how these things affect society. Otherwise, you're leaving a whole lot on the table. They always talk about how conservatives, they don't have their own Taylor Swift, and they never
don't
will.
have the alternatives.
They
They don't
never
have
will.
positive
Yeah, but there's-
alternatives if they're just attacking.
Real quick, there's a difference of it like affecting society, which, like we were talking earlier, like she dresses modestly and she is kind of more wholesome and all those type of things. Like that's one way for her to influence society, but it's not the same as her influencing actual political elections. And I think people are like conflating that.
Well, it remains to be seen,
We'll
right?
see
But
what she does, but
I think what's changed is like, okay, Taylor Swift gets compared to Michael Jackson a lot these days in terms of relative cultural influence. And it's also harder to be that famous these days because of the internet. So she gets compared to Michael Jackson a lot. But think about it. I just don't think that back at the height of Michael Jackson's fame, people who liked his music would think, yeah, I would definitely vote for a candidate who Michael Jackson endorsed. That's what's changed fundamentally in the mind of the American voter, is that celebrity worship and pop culture has started to have this outsized influence on politics that it shouldn't have. And that's a valid concern to have. And it's sort of spiraling into all of these conspiracies that she's like, a CIA Soros operative or something, when it really is just that valid concern that we're addressing.
I do think also a big part of this is like the shrinking of the middle class, which means people actually people care more about the issues because these things weren't affecting them in the same way that they are now. Now people kind of have to care about these types of things because back in the day, look, voting, like celebrities pushing for votes is nothing new. Rock the vote was a thing. I remember when the conservatives did the really cringy redeem the vote, which just made me want to I would have voted for Marilyn Manson just based off the idea of redeem the vote. I'm sorry that as somebody in my 20s, I just been like, no, you're not getting me with that. I think that Trump trying to go up against somebody with this amount of cultural influence is very, very stupid, and there's no upside to it for him. He needs to stay on point with focus on the border, focus on the economy. And I think that a lot of the data right now has shown that, like, look, these are the issues that people care about. And
Thank
failing
you.
otherwise, I do wonder how much of it is both sides getting stuck in their own echo chambers.
Okay, what you want is you want to win over white moderates, basically. is what you want. And
I
I think that will cover a lot of women who like Taylor Swift.
Yeah, that's
you
the thing,
cannot attack the thing that they love and expect them to vote for you.
Yes.
And it looks just
You're
it
not,
looks
and
bad
Trump
for
is not winning the female vote. I don't care what any poll says.
Sure.
The women don't like him.
married women are
vote
more
yes.
willing to vote for Trump.
But
yes.
we live in a culture where there's a lot less married people than there were before.
I saw like Michael Knowles tweeted that Taylor Swift is temperamentally conservative. So that's
Dispositionally, right?
Yeah, dispositionally conservative, and we should cautiously stand for that reason, even though she's outspokenly left wing. But in her aesthetics, she does appeal to moderates and conservatives, because when you compare her to what else is on the market, like a Cardi B, for instance, she is more on the wholesome side.
That's
I'm not
even
saying
a
she's
conservative.
actually
That's just
conservative,
a normal liberal who has to go to a job every day and isn't a performer that gets to wear spandex on stage every day.
but sure, but she's inoffensive is my point. She's inoffensive. She makes normal love songs. She's not hypersexualized.
Monkey Jeebus asks, do women vote? You were actually telling us, or was that somebody earlier was telling me that women now vote more than men?
68%.
Damn.
Women vote more than men. So, like I'm saying, and it's kind of like when when Linda mentioned, she said, "Look, you cannot win the female vote with facts and logic. You cannot. You have
However-
to appeal to emotions."
However, if you sway the black vote, I think it's 3 or 5%. Like if the Republicans were to gain 3 to 5% of the black vote, it would totally transform the whole election in general. And you have Meek Mill, you have like a ton of rappers coming out. Snoop Dogg. Like there's like basically Nicki Minaj here and there, right, saying certain things. You have
It's
a lot.
so pandery, though.
I'm just saying.
so pandery.
I'm not saying to do anything different. They're kind of coming here on their own because they're seeing what's happening and they don't like what's happening to their pocketbooks or the border or anything like that. Like I'm not saying to go out and pander to these people, but if that continues, like when I go with James Klug out man on the street stuff in California, almost every black person that we talk to says they're for Trump every single time. And that's in California. That's in LA. That's in Newport Beach. That's
Interesting.
all over. Even in Philly.
We got a $20 super chat from Gordon Shumway. Can you, Brett, can you scroll
Yes,
down?
got it.
He said, do you think Frank had more juice than Taylor with all of his mob ties? It was hinted in the movies The Rat Pack. In the movie, he got the Chicago mob to have dead people vote.
Well, I thought the mob was replaced by the CIA anyways, so it doesn't really matter.
They were all working together, and he definitely had those ties, and there was all kinds of stuff going on like that.
Somebody also pointed out, have you analyzed the symbolism in Taylor's videos? Yes, we have made several videos on that. And I think this is a losing issue. I think he should just avoid it. I think he should stay to the topics that matter to his base and hopefully find. I don't think that this late in the game there's a way he can sway the women. The best thing he can do for the women's vote is to just not talk about Taylor Swift. I don't think there's any issue that he can touch on that he's going to win the women on. The media has done such a good job of encircling everything that he talks about and phrasing it in a misogynistic way that you're just never going to do that. Not with the average voter who's only looking at CNN or the news. They're not going to be swayed right now.
We've got a $20 from Carnell. There's already been a Michael Jackson biopic from the 90s called The Jacksons, An American Dream. It was a 4-hour, 2-part movie on ABC. VH1 played reruns in the 2000s. However, it didn't cover the lighter years.
Also,
the lighter years.
There was the movie out. There was the This Is It came out in 2008. It was like not a concert movie, but it was a Michael Jackson movie. So let's they broke down. Basically, there's this article. It says Donald Trump v. Taylor Swift. Who is more popular by the numbers? I do love this. So this is her Twitter following. Taylor Swift has 95 million. Donald Trump has 87.4. Facebook, Taylor has 80 million. Trump has 34. You'd think Trump's Facebook base would be bigger.
The Twitter one isn't fair, though, because he was banned for so long when he could have been getting more followers.
Instagram, Taylor has 279 million. Trump has 23.7 million. TikTok, Taylor has 23.9 million. Donald Trump has none because he doesn't have one. I think a Donald Trump TikTok would be the greatest thing on planet Earth. But here's the real one, guys. They had to get this one in. Truth Social. Trump has 4.83. Taylor doesn't have one.
That's the one that he wins.
He wins. He's got a Truth Social.
I think they have like even name ID, like their name recognition across the globe is probably on par, but I think that she would beat him out in likability.
Likability.
Yes.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's more polarizing.
Correct.
Obviously.
Well, also, like, likability is something that matters more to women than it does to men. If men are historically believed to to vote more on issues rather than letting their feelings come into it, like I said, you
I
have
think
to
Trump
appeal.
won on personality, though.
Yeah,
You have to have an it factor.
on the second time around. He's technically, for the Republicans, he's being treated as an incumbent because it's his second time around, even though he's already won an election. He should be voting on his record and the record of the person who's currently in office, because he both has a record from his time in office and the record of the current administration. I don't think likability, because people have already made up their minds on what they think about him. What we're seeing now is people saying, I don't like him, but I might vote for him. So likability isn't as important as the issues.
To male voters.
To male
at
voters.
least.
For women voters, I don't know what he's going to do. Maybe he's to get an endorsement from who's somebody else that women like these days. What do the ladies like these days?
If you're going off an endorsement, you shouldn't vote anyway. Like, if that's why you're voting off somebody else's endorsement, you shouldn't be voting.
Of course not.
Well, I
We're living in this
personally believe
reality.
there should be no party affiliation listed on any voting ballot. You should be forced to actually know about the people you're voting for, because a lot of people will just check the party they support down the line. You should be forced to make a choice based on actually knowing who they are, because a lot of people, if they don't see a party affiliation, I think they'll just be like, I'm not going to do it. I'll just leave it blank.
I mean,
They're like,
Fair
what
proposal,
party
but
is
it's not
Taylor
gonna
Swift
happen.
in?
yeah. Just to close off, I did want to share this insight I saw about Taylor Swift trying to explain to conservatives why she is so popular with women, especially millennial women. It says, the last dude Taylor dated was an unambitious and effeminate British actor who turned her into a forever girlfriend of 6 years. She's a hopeless romantic who stuck around, even as he hid their relationship, made her walk on the outside of the road, and forestalled family formation. Taylor had to lead the relationship and play the masculine role. This is why it didn't work. Because of course it wouldn't. It rarely, if ever, does. The conservative worldview has been completely vindicated here. Yet we are not celebrating. Instead, we have to complain about fake wokeness because conservatives are in thrall to a reality television host who she, similar to most suburban women voters, does not like. It's true that many millennial women listen to Taylor Swift because they relate to her. How could they not? They're living the same tortured existence brought on by modern dating culture and the ongoing breakdown of sexual relations.
I couldn't agree with that more.
That's what conservatives are failing to understand. And I think also it's echoed by the New York Times opinion piece that came out a day ago. Taylor Swift, Donald Trump, and the right's abnormality problem. Boy meets girl, they fall in love, conservatives are furious. That's not the type of thing you should be attacking in the culture.
Thanks for watching. Listen to full episodes of Pop Culture Crisis on Spotify.
Keep up with us on social media and make sure you subscribe and ring that bell so you never miss the show. Bye, guys.